Hi guys, my name is Vijay. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is the 11th video in my Python series, and in this one we are going to discuss about functions. Functions are not new to Python. We can declare function in other programming languages as well. Okay, uh, function is a reusable block of code that performs a specific task or set of tasks. Okay, and a function helps in organizing the code, and it makes code more modular and easier to understand. So instead of writing the code multiple times, you can define a function once and call it wherever you need to execute that piece of code. Okay, that is why we create functions. So functions in Python are defined using def keyword followed by the function name and a set of parentheses and a colon. Okay, so here you can look at the syntax. So this is how we declare functions. So let's break down these components one by one. So first we have this def keyword, so that is used to define a function. Okay, then we have a function name, so it's a identifier for the function, and you can choose a descriptive or meaningful name for your function. Okay, then within the parentheses we can pass the parameters. Okay, so these are inputs variables that the function may take to perform its task. Okay, and these are optional. Okay, so you can have function without the parameter. Okay, and at the same time you can have function that can take multiple parameters. Okay, and if you're passing multiple parameters, you can separate those parameters by comma. Okay, then we have this colon that marks the beginning of the function. Okay, and then we can, below that we can write our piece of code or set of operations that you want to do with that function with the indentation. Okay, so we need to indent that block of code under this function declaration. Okay, then once you are done with your block of code, you can have a return statement as well. Okay, so it's a optional. If you want to return something from this function, you can use the return statement and whatever you want to return. Okay, and if you do not want to return anything, then you can leave this. Okay, so it's a optional. So this is how we create a function. Okay, so let's jump to a REPL and try to see more about the function, and let's understand some core concepts about functions. Okay, so let's jump into the REPL and see this in action. So in the first example, I'm just creating a simple function. If you see here, I'm creating a square function where I'm passing one number, if you see here, and I'm just squaring that off. Okay, and that I'm storing into one of the variable, and that I'm returning that. Okay, so and here we are calling that function, we are getting that return value here, and I'm printing that out. Okay, so let's run this. So this is how we can create a function. Okay, this is just a simple example. Then let's move forward. Then we have something called, like, how, what is parameter and arguments. Okay, so if you see here in the function definition, so whatever value or variables we define here, okay, after this function name within the parenthesis, we call those as a parameter. Okay, so these are parameter. Okay, and then whatever value we pass while calling the function, so if you see here, we are calling the function here, so whatever value we pass while calling the function, those we call it as a argument. Okay, so this is just a terminology that you should be aware about. Okay, then let's move forward. Then we have something called positional and keyword arguments. Okay, so let me uncomment this one. So here, if you see in this example, this is my greet function, and I'm passing name and age here. Okay, and here I'm calling that function. So what a positional argument says is that these value that we pass, or the argument that we pass to the function, these will be matched to the parameter based on the orders. Okay, so this will go to this particular parameter that is at the first position. Okay, and the second will go to the second parameter. Okay, based on the position. Okay, so based on the positions, the particular argument will go to the particular parameter. Okay, so let's run this one. So if you see here, the name that is Alice is going to this one. Okay, that is why it is getting printed here. Okay, and then the age is going to this particular parameter and it is printed here. Okay, and then we have something called keyword arguments. Okay, so in keyword argument what happens is that, let me uncomment this one. So, so what keyword argument says is that the order of the argument does not matter here. So it is not like positional argument, okay? And they are matched to the parameter based on their names, okay? If you see here, I am using the same name here in the argument, and I am using this equal to operator, and I'm passing that value. Okay, so what will happen, this Bob will go to name because I'm using that keyword here, and this age will be going to age only, okay, because I'm using that keyword here. Okay, and here also position does not matter, so we can like I can use this age before this name also, okay, because position does not matter here. Okay, so age will go to age only based on the keyword. Okay, so this is how this keyword argument works. Okay, so let's run this one as well. Okay, so if you see here, since the positions are not same, but still the particular value is being mapped to their respective parameter because I'm using a particular keyword here with the same name as parameter. Okay, so both the results are same. Okay, then we have something called default parameter. Okay, so let's uncomment this one. So if you see this function, I have this greet function where I'm passing where I have two parameter, name and age. Okay, so here if you see, this is how we pass a default parameter. Okay, so we can use this equal to operator in this function definition itself. This is the parameter name, equal to operator, and the default value. Okay, so this is how we declare a default parameter. So what happens is that, suppose if I do not want to pass age from my argument, and if I just want to pass name, then in that case age will be 30 because the default value will be used in this case. Okay, because I'm not passing any explicit value for age. Okay, but uh, in other case where I'm passing some explicit value in this second example, so in that case that particular value will be used. Okay, so default case will be used when we are not passing any particular value for that particular parameter. Okay, that is here. So let's run this one. Okay, so if you see here in first function, default value is being taken, that you can see here, and then in the second example, since I'm passing a value for that age, then that particular value is being used. Okay, let's move forward. Then we have something called args and kwargs. Okay, we call it as args and kwargs. So these are just a special syntax used in function definition to handle a variable number of argument. Okay, so this args, what it will do is, so when you prefix a parameter with a asterisk in the function, it allows the function to accept multiple positional argument. Okay, so what does that mean is, so let's uncomment this one. So here, and these particular args or quarks, if you see here, these are just a variable name. You can change that variable name based on your convenience, but generally we call it as a args or quarks in Python. Okay, so what happens is that if we are placing a asterisk symbol in this positional argument in front of this particular variable, then it can accept a multiple positional argument. Okay, so what all values, multiple arguments we pass here, that will go as a tuple to this particular variable. Okay, and what I'm doing here is I'm declaring one particular variable total, and I'm assigning that with a 0 value, and from this args that will be in the form of tuple, I'm taking the number one by one and I'm adding that to my total. Okay, so ultimately what it will give me, it will give me sum of these numbers. Okay, so that is how we accept multiple positional argument in Python using this args concept. Okay, and let's run this first. Okay, so you can see that it is giving me 15, and if you want to like check the type of this, then you can also do that. Okay, suppose I'm saying that it is in form of tuple, so let's check that. Okay, so if you see here, so all the positional argument that we pass, okay, that will go to this particular args as a tuple. Okay, then we have kwargs. Okay, so what it does is, so when you prefix a parameter with double asterisk, okay, then it allows the function to accept multiple keyword arguments. Okay, and keyword arguments, we have already seen that we use a keyword, okay, like that variable name equal to a value. Okay, so this is how we declare a keywords arguments. Okay, so here if you see, I'm passing multiple keyword arguments. Okay, and if we pass multiple keyword arguments and we have in the parameter something like this, like double asterisk and a variable name, that is kwargs, then it can accept multiple keyword arguments. Okay, so all these keyword arguments will be going into this particular variable in form of dictionary. Okay, so let's check the type as well for this one. Okay, so I'm checking the type here, and also since it is going in the form of dictionary, so I can get the items from the dictionary using this items function. Okay, if you're not aware about dictionary, you can watch my previous videos. Okay, so I'm getting the items from this dictionary, and I'm like doing the unpacking of that particular key and value, and I'm printing that out. Okay, so this is how, like if we have multiple keyword argument, we can hold that into a single dictionary like this. Okay, so let's run this one. So if you see here, these keywords arguments are going to my function as a dictionary. Okay, and then within the dictionary I am using this item function, I am separating the keys and the values, and I'm printing that out. Okay, so this is how these args and kwargs works in Python. So if you have multiple positional arguments, you can use args, and if you have multiple keyword arguments, you can use kwargs. Okay, now let's take one more example where we have uh, both like positional argument, multiple, where we can use this args and kwargs together with the positional arguments. Okay, so if you see this example now here, uh, if you see, so based on a position, if you see this function, I have declared this function and I'm passing these arguments, correct? So let's see how this will be executed. So based on position, one will be going to A, two will be going to B, then till here, like 3 and 4, since these are rest to positional argument, this will be going to my args, correct? Because based on the position, one is going to A, two is going to B, but now I have two more positional arguments, correct, that will go to my args variable. Okay, and then after that I have this keyword arguments. Okay, so in order to receive keyword arguments, we have kwargs. Okay, so this is how this works. Okay, so based on positions, arguments will go to positional argument. Then again, if you have some more positional argument, and if you are using this args, then rest of the positional arguments will go there. And then if you have some keywords arguments, then those will be going to your kwargs. Okay, now let's run this one. Okay, so if you see here, now in A and B we have 1 and 2, that is correct. Then 3 and 4 is going to my args, correct, if you see here. And then 5 and 6, like these keywords arguments, it is going to kwargs, correct? So this is how this works. Now let's check one thing. I have replicated the same function here, and suppose if I'm removing this args from here, and I'm passing also, let me comment this out. Okay, so if you see here, I am passing 4 positional argument. Okay, but based on this I have only 2 parameter. Okay, that is taking these positional arguments. Okay, and this is different because all these keywords argument, it will be received here. But if you see here, I am passing 4 positional argument, but in order to hold that, I have only 2 parameter. Okay, so this will throw an error. Okay, if I'm going to run this, so you can see that it is taking only 2 positional argument, but we are giving 4. Okay, so this will not work. okay, because we do not have enough variable here or positional parameter here to hold these values. Okay, but suppose let me uncomment this one. If I remove one variable or one parameter from here, and let's just uncomment this, just comment this one. Okay, so if I'm removing one uh, positional parameter here, so what will happen is based on position, one will go to a, then rest all these parameter, sorry, rest all these positional argument will go to args. Okay, because args can hold multiple positional arguments. Okay, so this time it will work. Okay, so this we should also keep in mind, like how many positional parameters and arguments we have, and like how we can make use of args and kwargs. Okay, so this is how it works, guys. I hope you got an idea. So we have discussed multiple things in this video, like how to declare a function, what are positional and keywords arguments, what are default parameters, then what are args and kwargs. I hope you got a better idea. So let's stop here, and if you find this video insightful, do share with your friends and colleagues, and let's meet in another video. So till then, stay happy and keep learning.